Hey, welcome to the Houdini and Doyle After Show. Today we're talking about Episode 8, Strigoi, and are vampires real? Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Wait, Frank, are you driving again?
I'm driving, yes.
He's driving with his
Tuning
coaster.
into the destination
Whoa,
for...
we are that excited.
That's right.
We're getting the show started again. Hey, guys. See, we have a late night show, which I think inherently just makes us a little more loopy. Yes, yes, all right,
Yeah.
but it's a loopy kind of show, which this episode was kind of comedic. Anyways, my name is Kari Lane. You can find me online at Kari D Lane. That's Karidlane. Today we're talking about episode 8, Strigoi, and I'm joined by my awesome co-host. Introduce yourself, guys.
Which one? I thought... Okay, my name is Ty Matthews. Y'all can find me on Twitter, on Instagram, at Ty Matthews PMA. And, you know, lots of wrestling after shows, all that stuff. But sometimes magic, too, you know, and vampires.
Yep.
And you can follow, I'm Frank Moran. You can follow me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie. No vampires on mine, sorry.
And then, guys...
They don't pop up on General Hospital?
Actually, they used to. They used to. That's true.
Okay.
That is very true.
Well.
Ty got me.
Yes.
And I'm afraid my facts today, a coworker misplaced my book, and so I don't have my facts. But there's a couple things that while we're going through, I'll be like, I remember that, and I will chime in with that information. But vaguely what I can remember, something kind of cool, and I'll reiterate for next time. One, Houdini was this close to sharing and selling his secrets to his tricks before he made it his big break.
Ooh.
He was going to be like, I give up. I'm gonna sell.
He was gonna be like the original precursor. Do you guys remember that special on Fox?
Oh, yeah.
Magic's Greatest Secrets Revealed.
Where the guy with the mask?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So he was this close. And then Doyle also was almost ready to turn it in too with Sherlock Holmes, but then there was a different publisher and released it, and then it just went bigger. So
I see.
Come on, guys, you gotta hang in there. These famous people almost didn't do it. And this episode actually talks a lot about other authors, which I really appreciate.
Right.
What's the going rate, though, for like somebody that wanted to sell off their magic act? Like, I don't know, like, what you charge for
Back then, I think...
Back then, probably a lot.
Back then, like obviously pre-internet, like, people would have paid quite a bit.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
So what'd you guys think of this episode? I loved it.
This might have been
so cool.
one of my favorites. Like, this and Spring Hill Jack are really up there. I like the monsters. This song is haunting, by the way. What's this song called?
Yeah, just so you guys, if you look up Houdini and Doyle songs, there is a website that does a really good job. I'm totally blanking on their name, but if you just search it, they're doing a great...
tunefind.com?
It might be tunefind.com. Thank you very much. So they list what they are. So this one is called Interfaith by Public Memory. And there's a couple songs from previous episodes. Thank you for reaching out on Twitter and asking about those songs, and I was glad to help you find them. Because this show has some excellent soundtrack music, for sure.
Definitely.
So Frank, what do you think about the episode?
Well, I liked what I'd like. The running gag is just Houdini really busting Doyle's chops about other. It's like comparing him like as less than other writers.
Yes.
Whether it be Mark Twain, Bram Stoker. I loved it.
I thought this episode was great too because they brought the comedy back. The last episode, it went down a little bit because it got a little more serious.
Right.
But this one, it was just like they had the seriousness, they had the scariness, and so much humor was back. It just made you like, I'm so happy to watch the guys and lady. So we start off, we get this lone creepy man buying something and then walking around, and he's following, and we're in. But this one said he's in New York City. So then I was a little confused because I kept thinking, at the beginning I thought it said New York City.
I don't think I
But
saw
then
that.
maybe I read it wrong. But on the bottom, I thought it said New York, which makes sense in a way. But then it's like, but they're in New York. But I don't know. Anyway, so we got a guy running around, and he drops this weird bottle, and he runs to a door, and lo and behold, it's Doyle's door. Good intro segue. It's like, hey, buddy.
Hey, BFF.
And yes, totally BFF.
What it do?
And we learn it's Bram Stoker, and we had this argument of Doyle says more like Bram, and Bram is said by Houdini.
I think that's literally just
Bram
their
Stoker.
accents. Like
Yes, totally.
Like Harry hitting the really hard American A.
I'm so used to hearing more Bram.
I've never heard that.
Really?
No, really,
Oh,
yeah.
Bram
I've always
Stoker.
heard Bram Stoker, yeah.
It's the original tomato, guys.
Yeah.
I want to say it's somewhere in
Exactly.
between. It's almost like an A, like in Bram, Bran. So it's not quite a hard A. What do you guys think? That's a good question.
Bran like bran flakes?
Maybe? I don't know. Anyway.
Bran Stoker?
Bram Stoker? I don't know. So they have we learned it's Bram Stoker, and I'm going to say more Bram. So Bram like prom almost.
Sure.
And Doyle. And Doyle's arguing with him, and Doyle's kind of like, dude, you're just paranoid. I like that little argument. Well, what about the fish? That fish was a weird character.
Right, exactly. The cab driver, the fishmonger, everyone is out to get him.
Yes. And then Doyle goes, well, you have your book being released next week, which we were a little confused. Frank and I were talking about this. It looks like it's just Dracula, but he already released Dracula, so what is this new book? Because at the end...
No, he had released it in hardback. This is the paperback release.
Oh, okay. So probably a more wide release, because paperback is more.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. That makes more sense now. So he's like, your book is being released next week, and then that means public appearances, and Bram's not. He's much more of a private kind of guy. He's very quirky, which we learn. And then he points out to Doyle, he's like, oh, you must be okay with those. So here's the fact, though. Doyle was pretty good on public speeches and did lectures, and I will get the quote, but one time somebody insulted Doyle by, like, you're just copying these authors, and he's like, something like, the doll will never be the same as the master, so essentially, like, shut up. Which I was like, I love it. It's not exactly what I'll bring the quote next. That's totally paraphrased, but that's essentially how
I like that part better, though. Shut up.
But I imagine, now in watching the show, I'm, like, imagining how the actors be like, but it seems like they are. So we learned that these guys are close friends. What did you guys think of their little interaction at the beginning?
I love that. I love that they're, they're
two authors, buddies.
That's peers. That's cool.
Yeah.
Sure. The author of Dracula and Sherlock Holmes. I like. It's just like it's why the conceit of this show drew me in. Is like, I like to think that these figures were like buds,
childhood best friends, according to this. Which I'm like, I don't think so, but I haven't read that yet.
Right.
In when they talk about Doyle, but
right.
But there was a thing that I did read, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, I don't have my notes. But there was a thing that Doyle and never mind, I'll just bring it next time. Some other contemporary author of the time, like, did have a meeting. So it was a thing that that contemporaries would meet and
kind of run in the same circles.
Cool.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Absolutely.
And then Doyle takes Bram home, and they find a woman with a stake in her heart.
Whoops.
So were you guys excited? Was that kind of like, oh, the episode's kicking off?
Oh, for sure, absolutely.
Like,
of course, someone's gonna get staked in the Bram Stoker episode.
Has to be.
Yeah, although I felt like over the whole episode, I felt like the thought when you see a woman with a stake in her heart, like that's going to set you up to some pretty heavy vampire stuff throughout the whole episode. I felt like we never really got that.
Not really.
Involved.
I think. No. Well, I think because it's being grounded in such reality that's like people pretending to be vampires is as close as we can get, kind of to that edge.
Which that's actually pretty. Like, that's a real thing, though.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's still people who do that, right?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So I was going to say common. I'm like, no, it's not common, but I mean, it's a thing. It really is a thing.
I hang out with some guys.
Today.
You want to hang out? It's cool.
You know
some
what?
buddies.
He pointed out, and I totally thought of it when I was driving here. I'm like, I didn't bring my fangs, which I do have those.
Do you?
I do. I worked at Not Scary Farm, so that's why I bought fangs.
That's right.
Because I was a vampire at Not Scary
Farm. We
Farm.
talked about this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, are they just like standard, or are they more like custom fit to your mouth?
I only was a vampire like a week, and then for the first year and the 2 other years I did the full time, so I only had the regular ones, but a lot of my co-monster people had the like custom ones that they could like eat with them.
Oh, wow.
But I thought the ones I had were medium-ish size that you could see me well this way, because the small ones you do kind of have to be a bit closer for them to really be like you have something there. So I didn't get the really big ones are just obnoxious and you can't talk with those, and those are probably more in the werewolf category.
Yeah.
But the medium size are good because you can talk, you get kind of used to it, but I wouldn't eat with them or anything.
Sure.
It seems so weird to me. Just like
I just think you'd ruin them, but whatever. Right. So then we get Houdini meeting Bram, and he's like, I am such a big fan.
We get so many scenes of like people fanboying out for other people in this show. I love it.
It's so funny. But I mean, I don't know. Would you do that if you don't, again, if in a world without the internet, in a world I mean, they have information sharing, but not as immediate.
Oh,
you
sure.
could be like, I'm meeting my idol.
Yeah, definitely.
Someone I'm famous. You know?
Right.
You're big.
Just by happenstance, yeah. And yeah, he mentions even reading his theater reviews
Your
in
articles.
Dublin. Like, he's into the deep cuts.
Well, it's always interesting when you see somebody that's so well established in one profession being so much of a fan of somebody else in another. Then that's always more fun. And just like the layperson, it's cool, but it always seems to, like, when somebody who's such an expert at something, it's like, whoa, okay.
Well, it's like how it's funny to watch actors freak out about other big actors, and they're just like, oh my gosh, and they get a fan out. And
Right.
it's like, oh my goodness. And then we learn that, we had the Doyle and Bram have been friends since childhood. Then Stratton starts to question Bram, and then Bram admits that he had a man following him, and they'd seen him before. And then we get that threatened scene. What did you guys think of that?
Which one's that?
When the guy broke into Bram's house, and he didn't call the police.
Oh,
Yeah.
He talks about fans. He's like, well, it happens. Fans break into my house, but they don't normally threaten me.
Right.
Yeah, please employ the utmost discretion while you're doing this.
Right, yeah, he doesn't want his name in papers, even in positive light.
Yeah. And so, that was kind of a weird breaking. Creepy.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm protecting the innocents, and you're like, I'm just an author.
Yeah, guys, what's going on? Can't you just separate fact from fiction there?
Yes,
Yeah.
totally.
But I do like Houdini just busting him, and it's like, wait, Doyle creates the most famous character in fiction, or it's like,
Just clearly trying to poke and prod.
That was
or when he
great.
says, well, Bram was supportive when I left medicine to write full time. He's like, good luck with that.
Yeah. Oh, so many good jabs. So we learned that the maid must have been killed by mistake. And then we get what's the discretion. Yes, and we. So I like this trend, and Houdini kind of go, this guy's a weirdo.
Hey,
Dora's like, well, okay, he's quirky. All right, yeah, he's really
he's got his
quirky.
eccentricities,
Yes.
sure.
Well, the glasses alone already just set him like, all right.
Those I love those kind of angular,
Yeah.
like creating little walls.
We never really got to see his eyes in really good light, but it looked like his eyes were really light blue, which light color eyes are often more sensitive to light.
Interesting.
The lighter your eyes are, the more sensitive you are to light. At least I have a friend at least argues that really hard. And I'm like, okay, but it makes sense of it, or I don't know, just some people, if he has a sensitivity to light in general
Right.
too, so his eyes could just be right. I don't know. We'd have to pull all the dark-eyed people and light-eyed people and be like,
It's like Horatio Caine in CSI Miami. He always wears those sunglasses all the time, guys. we should have seen Bram pull them off.
That's exactly. Looks like the man was killed by mistake.
show crossover. And then we so many of the author jokes were that was the best, like boom,
Right.
boom, jab, uppercut, done, out. I love that. And then Houdini's like, well, no, you're coming with me. That's how we solve the problem.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
just come stay at my hotel. And then we got Houdini and his mom, and it's like, why is he here? And she goes, he reminds me of my childhood, and, which was interesting. And I mean, the old world mythologies, and the people on the fringe, because you don't know what they're up to. So
Right.
easy to associate with the mysticism.
Bram Stoker's kind of put in like this version of witness protection almost. Or like they're calling him Mr. Hollister, and they've got this guard outside his door.
That tall gentleman, it's guard for your protection. I don't need him. He'll only come. It's like a vampire. He'll only come in if you invite him.
That's right. Yeah, that's true. And I never will.
Yeah, he's like, no. And then Houdini and Doyle talk to Stratton, and they're like, you've been a bit cut. And she's like, shows them the threat. And then they're like, well, that is kind of a big deal. And then she finds a letter that the maid wrote and says that Bram has changed because he's become a vampire. But they see that the maid's been paid a lot, and they're like, that's mysterious.
Yeah, he's started to become hostile, and things are definitely...
Maybe he broke his no-touch rule. You like that line by Houdini?
Right.
Doyle's like, no, don't say that about my friend. Doyle talking to the vampire expert. That was funny. I like that. And then he points out the vampire legends apparently have died out, but Bram's Dracula remade a surgence of them and inspired people. And the protector of the innocents are the vampire hunters. And he goes, maybe you should go to the cemetery and go find the vampire cult people there.
Yeah, just kick it.
That's where you go.
Just kick it in the cemetery.
But it's interesting, like, because it's like these people, like these vampire fighters, like none of them are really. Nobody's drinking real blood and like turning into a vampire and coming out of the grave 3 days later as a
So
Nosferatu.
you're just a murderer.
Yeah.
They're
They're just legit
murderers
killers. That's
because they
all.
know that they're not they're buying into the fakeness of that realm as much as the people who are on the other side.
Yeah.
Because if you kind of go, no, I know they're not real, but I'm gonna kill them anyway.
Right. And they're going to the cemetery. They're vandalizing graves. They're taking people's remains out so they can sleep in the coffins.
They're like, oh yeah, because they're just gonna disturb the graves. No big deal. And you're like, whatever. So they go to back to looking through his stuff.
Oh, so even the cult, like they sleep in coffins.
Yeah.
And drink cow's blood. Like I don't know. Would you? I've never actually been in a coffin,
I thought it was
but
pig's blood.
yeah. Do you guys hang out in? Have you ever slept in or laid in a coffin ever?
I stood up at the one at Knott's Berry Farm.
Oh, the one at the ghost town?
In the graveyard.
Yep.
Not laid down.
There's a thing that they have sometimes at haunts where you lay in a coffin and it's like a simulation of, the carriage taking you to the grave and then getting buried and stuff like that. I've done that.
What?
That's, I guess, a vague approximation.
That's creepy.
It's pretty weird.
How far do they take? Do they actually lift you out and like take you to a plot?
No, it's just shakes.
It's all like
stationary.
a simulator. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
So like you're laying in there and you hear the noises and you hear like someone delivering eulogy and you hear the carriage kind of carrying you and then you hear like the dirt being shoveled on top of you.
Well, that's like the old urban legend and truth that people, when they buried them way back when, they would actually have bells.
Yeah, they would have a little foot pedal.
Yeah. Just in case you weren't dead yet.
Never know.
Or you're a vampire.
Some people are really deep sleepers.
Well, it's the side note of this, which I don't know if we'll have a zombie episode, if we get ahead of myself on zombie episode. The Serpent and the Rainbow. Do you guys know that movie and book? Okay, it's the kind of precursor to Skeleton Key. Go watch this movie, guys.
Wes Craven
really
did that one, right? Wes Craven did that, right? Serpent and the Rainbow?
I can't recall. But maybe it's a while ago.
Skeleton Key, the one with Kate Hudson?
Yes. So Serpent and the Rainbow is precursor to that. It's based on a book, and it's a real thing that they're essentially, you would poison your enemy to the point that, like, for all intents and purposes, they are dead. Like, their pulse slows down, they're not breathing enough, like, registered. And so then you would bury your enemy would be buried because your enemy's dead, and then they'd wake up underground.
Oh, man.
And then be the major way to F them up. So I was like, no, really, that's a thing. So if we get a zombie episode, I wonder if they'll do that. But it's a similar idea of like being buried and you're not ready, like you're not dead yet.
Sure.
It's a really good movie.
That's really sadistic thing. Like I could just kill you, but no, instead I'm just gonna get you so close to death and then bury you and then let you wake up and then freak out again.
Well, because the thing is, in the movie, we're digressing, guys, but we do that on the show too because it's cool topics. The idea is they want to get this serum or whatever they make it with and use it for anesthesiology because it'd be a great way for putting people under surgeries and bringing them back up because it's the same idea as that, but of course doesn't always go so well in the movies. So anyway, there we go. Oh yes, Stratton and Houdini are looking through Brom's stuff and she has her happy husband memory. Man,
fishing on Lake Como.
Yes, and you learn that's the proposal. And this is very not the best taste, but I was like, man, that's the biggest cock block right there.
What, the storm?
Houdini, no, just her, like, Houdini's trying to, like, get in, like, leaning close, and then she's just having this memory, and he's like, wow, he really was a great guy. Like, no, you're not getting in.
I didn't get that he was, like, trying to, like,
No, but I mean, like, in general, he has. And this moment was like, no. You have this person who's not even alive. You can't measure up. I don't know. I just had a weird moment where I'm like, woo, you're not getting anywhere near that now. Because he's been trying so... Well, actually, he's kind of died off of it.
I think, he's put on the brakes a little bit. Now
they're pals, because remember later, your best pals in the whole world.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Now they really are like siblings. But anyway, that was a random side thought. What do you guys think? And then we get Stratton goes the payment toward the maid. And then the team is back together, like, is it blackmail? And they're at the cemetery.
Yeah, because they find out he's paying her, like, an obscene amount of money for just being a maid compared to other maids at the time.
Yes. I wonder how much that $40 would have been a lot then, for sure.
40, was it 40 a week? Is that what? Because I think in that ledger it was like, other maids were like $8, $40.
Yeah. I wonder if the other maids could, like, pick up and be like, dude, you are living well.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
What's going on? All right. So then, I like that the expert, Doyle points out the expert does not believe in vampires, but Doyle is open to the idea.
Yeah.
He's like, well, there's scientific proof. And Houdini's like, you just think everything could have that.
Right.
And Houdini and Stratton are like, no. And I noticed you liked Houdini's next line. about immortality.
Yes, our only path of immortality is fame.
Definitely. And of
cool.
course it's Houdini that would say something like that. The guy that's like obsessively chasing fame.
But it's true. It's a way to live forever.
Absolutely. And it's like he says, it's the only way.
Yeah.
You know, and that'll come, you know, we'll get to it. That comes full circle at the end of the episode.
Because, like, your children is one thing, but if your image, if you're famous, that is a way you can live forever.
Right. Right. And it's, and once again, another jab at Doyle. He says, you know, people will be talking about me for hundreds of years.
And you.
Maybe a dozen.
Yeah. Well, it's probably equal and in different ways. Well, with the new show Sherlock, I'd say Doyle's kind of winning that race right now.
This is true.
Yeah.
Sorry, Houdini. Not so much. All right, then when they find those creepy people in the graveyard.
I felt like Houdini's insult to them was like such a modern insult.
It was.
Oh, the mom, like living in your mom's
Yes.
And you're acting out your fantasy fan fiction.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, that seems very modern.
Yeah.
I think this show takes a lot of liberties on that.
Oh, sure.
But do you like it or not?
I like it. I think if everything was just like painstakingly period appropriate, I think that would be like, I don't know. I feel like there's a reason, or there's something to be said for heightened historical fiction.
I think it works because they have the modern music as well. What do you think?
It takes me out of it a little bit, like the playful jabbing back and forth, you know, just ribbing each other about, you know, other authors and stuff. Like that is great. I enjoy that. I think that fits in well. But this, where they're starting like, these pop out to me when it's like those modern kind of insults.
Yeah.
Like,
It was, and it wasn't only just like modern, but it was so super specific to
was
like
very
it's
specific.
the go-to defense. Yeah, when someone's like trolling you on the internet or something like that.
Yeah, I think they do a good job on the show, though, that they only do those kind of every so often, because I can't recall the other ones that have happened in the show, but there have been other ones where you're like, that feels very modern, but they kind of get it in there that you're like, yeah, sure. Yeah. And then they got the people, and then those people know who the suspect is. I like how they are so obvious. Yeah, there's this person, they go, we need to leave.
Yeah, we don't know that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, you gotta work on your poker face.
But yeah, they make a point of saying we protect our own. Yeah.
And then
Weirdos. They disappear.
Oh, that I just like in the reality of that, where it's like, hey, let's just get far enough away they can't see. No, run super fast.
Smoke bomb.
Well, I thought maybe there could have been some tunnels, something,
Yeah.
or something.
Lay down in the grass. Get the leaves over you.
Just wearing ghillie suits.
Something like that. And then we get Bram has this weird skin thing. Okay, so the skin thing, I know later we learn what his condition is, but I almost felt that was like a melanoma, like cancer or something. Like the skin was gone.
Oh, really?
What do you guys think?
Oh, no, I thought that was like some sort of like a prosthetic or something.
But why does he have a piece of skin that's coming off?
That's what I mean. I think that piece was like a prosthetic that he was like taking off.
I felt like that
at
was
least
a
that was my
hole
first.
in his face.
Really?
Yeah. What did you think?
I thought it seemed like it was some like a hole or something that he was kind of filling in with the makeup. Yeah.
So, because it felt like he was putting putty in makeup, and they commented that he has makeup. So,
Right.
But makeup could almost be like a sunblock back then, I would almost argue. Because depending on how thick it is, if he has sensitivity to sun.
Well, and given the aversion and sensitivity to sunlight, he would be like unnaturally pale.
Yeah. I'm thinking, I don't know, but my educated guess would be it's his condition he already has, which we'll get to that later, but it probably has a cancerous, like melanoma, something like piece of skin coming off or something like that. That's my guess. Because you've seen those people, right, that have had like it's their nose that comes off or whatever. That's what it looked like. But what do you guys think? Leave a comment. Let us know. We appreciate your comments, by the way. We had a lot on the, I don't know if you guys read them yet, but the Houdini and Doyle, like, who's meaner episode.
Oh, okay.
Love your guys' comments on that one. That was fun to read. Everyone's like, well, I think. And I appreciate it. Thank you so much. We love reading those. Those are super fun. And then we got the skin thing. So Houdini talks to his mom, and the mom's like, well, Bram disappeared.
That whole scene was ridiculous, though. Again, much like the cult just disappearing, where she's watching him walk down the street, and then she hides behind the curtain long enough for him to easily just sprint around the corner.
Sure,
and then when she pops out, she's like, sure shocked.
Wait, where did he go?
Yeah.
He should have been there this whole time. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Is there no object permanence?
He doesn't walk that slow. Yeah.
Right.
And then Houdini's like, well, he must have left. And then lo and behold, he's in the room.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, maybe. And then the mom and Bram kind of have a little standoff, which I thought that was kind of funny. I was like, go, mom. Then we get more Houdini and Mom. I'm just saying Mom, it's the easier abbreviation. Houdini and Mom says, she's like, no, I'm certain I saw him. And then the mom's very lonely at the hotel. Mm-hmm. She's homesick. But she wants to stay where Houdini is. Okay, I'm sorry. This episode is where it got a little too...
Come on.
It's not like, okay, yeah, like he's like super like loyal and like obviously a mama's
both
boy.
Of them. It's not even just
But it's
him.
not like, I don't think it's anything weird. Like not like overly weird like you guys think.
You should have been watching with Kari and I, because we get done looking at each other watching.
I don't get like what it is you guys think is gonna happen.
A little smooch.
The way they leaned in, we both looked at each other. We're waiting for like, eep.
Oh my god.
But it's like head tilt. Actually, that would have been funnier if it was a side pack.
Oh, yes. Just the cheek. Mm.
You guys read the weirdest stuff into this relationship.
What do you think? Before I can go with Ty's argument that, okay, fine, they just have a strong relationship, I'll go with it. But this episode and this scene, I was like, whoo!
Certainly in real life, they did have a very, very, very close relationship. But it's one thing to read about it, but then another one to see it
It's weird to
act
watch.
it out. Yes. Then you're like, oh, all right.
You're like, no.
No, it's just such a huge jump to make, to be like, okay, yeah, his mom is away, to be like, wait, are they gonna kiss? That's such a huge jump to
The way
make.
they were in that shot.
No, they weren't.
Okay. What
They're
do you
holding
guys think?
hands.
Leave a comment.
They're
Let
holding
us
hands,
know.
like
Leave a
leaning in
comment
like
below.
this?
Yes.
It was, once again, it was
So
19...
is this an interaction you would do with your mom?
No, but it's not that weird. I'm just saying it's not that weird, especially in 1901.
Why does time period make a difference?
Because people weren't that weird about personal space back then between their mom and their son.
What year did they become weird?
Right?
what year?
Probably, well, people are much weirder about that sort of contact now.
Sure.
Like back then, like I don't think that would have been...
Maybe they got weirder because there were things that were being weird.
What do you mean?
Why would it become weird unless something was weird going on?
Oh my god. Whatever.
I remember back in college, a buddy of mine saying like, oh yeah, at night I'd lay down on my mom's bed and give her a back rub. And I always thought that was weird. And I was like, don't ever tell me that story again. I don't want to know that.
Well, that's like the weird, like, well, this one could be cultural. It's people who kiss their parents on the lips.
Yeah.
But that's in Eat, Pray, Love. I remember, like, someone does that and then somebody else kind of reacts like, well, that's weird. But then it was a cultural thing. And
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, different families just have different ways of expressing
this is true.
their...
But this scene was weird.
All right.
Anyway, mom is homesick and he's like, no, I want to stay where you are. All right, and then Doyle's all alone and the lights go out. How convenient. Man, that was the theme this episode, is candles, poof, out.
Right.
Where's their electricity? They have electricity already, so...
Do they?
I thought they did.
I mean, is it that prevalent that everyone would have it in 1901?
In Doyle's house. Doyle's house, you should have it, and then Houdini's hotel.
But you figure like you got to be like really confident that the wind's gonna blow through. Like I'm gonna open up this window and the wind's gonna blow in and knock it out just in the right moment where I need to come in and surprise him.
Right.
That's
Yes.
a lot of
Very
coincidence
elaborate
you're opening.
plan.
So Liliana has broken into his home, and she appears in the room, and she points out that Lachlan McBride is the vampire hunter, and she kind of gives a reveal that he killed the maid.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't. What was her reasoning of that one? It was
Um,
why did he kill the maid?
I'm not sure. Well, she mentioned that the maid was not part of our world, and so
Yeah.
that Lachlan had brought dishonor by killing her.
Yeah, that was bad.
But I think it was because they knew that she was blackmailing Stoker, and so they were protecting him.
True. There we go. All right, and then Stratton and Houdini question Bram, and then Doyle walks in, and there's something they doesn't want to admit what's wrong, and then admits to, okay, the maid has discovered something, but again, Bram's like, I'm not telling. No. But Doyle, you need to trust. It's not a bad thing. I like that Doyle, though, he does the good friend thing. He's like, do you want to just tell me in private? Like, we can ignore them. Just
Right. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. His
Good
point
of him.
is it's not necessarily important what the secret is. It's the fact that she's using a secret against him.
So you're like, all right, well, we don't know what it is yet. Then we get back to Houdini and his mom, and then she's like, I dreamt that you left me forever. And he's like, no, I'll never leave you. And he says he will go with her. See, that was the... He's like...
Just like that, just the head tilts.
Whatever you guys want to read into it.
They want to go back and stuff their faces full of saltwater taffy.
Yes. He's like, whoa.
Or eat ourselves sick.
And then we get Stratton all alone, and then knocks. Who's at the door? I like her little billy club that's like,
Right, like,
that's gonna do like
what are
nothing.
you going to do with that?
Who is it? Your best pals in the whole wide world. That was funny.
It's
Yes.
just the mod squad now.
Now it's definitely they're her brothers for sure. And he's like, I like that you're ready for action. Good girl. That was funny. Of like, all right. And then yes, they have their little group, and then they're like, why aren't you ready? Why aren't you looking? You haven't found the address. And then you find out she has her conspiracy theory wall.
Oh, yeah.
Boom.
Big old,
right
like,
there.
Zodiac style
Yes.
map. Notes and...
Yep, she has gotten into that. She went through her husband's records, and maybe he's a government agent because he's near some assassination attempts. What do you guys think?
I mean, it makes sense. I don't know if I know enough about this subplot to theorize any further. But yeah, she talks about how, like, each one of these assassinations, she found out he's been within 50 miles of it when it happened. Like, without fail, every single one.
We'll put that in predictions then.
Yeah. So yeah,
What do you guys think
they say he's trying to stop them, and that's why they kind of came after him.
I do like that while they're looking around, Houdini does find the Adventures of Tom Sawyer.
Yes.
And wants to hold on to that. He's like, I like great literature. Another good slam at Doyle right there.
Yes. There's a thing we'll come back, so glad you mentioned the book, because there's a thing later that I was waiting for a
yes.
moment to happen. It didn't happen, and it'll probably happen in the next episode if it comes back. And then the map, and they go to McBride's home, and I like that they just go right in.
Sure.
Yeah.
At this point,
Yeah. And,
what's the use in decorum?
and then here's another episode where no newspaper, no cops.
Right.
They're just going to do it. And Stratton's like, I'm a police officer. We're just going to do it. Okay.
Well,
Break
she says the police officer thing at the very end.
Yes,
yeah.
that's later too.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, I like that I know they know he's a suspect, but still they just break into his house.
Right. Well, I mean, like, he's a suspect in as much as someone has straight up said, no, he did it.
Yeah, that's true. And then
And they find all sorts of weaponry.
That
and,
was fun.
Yeah, the hammer and the stake and all
the
that.
gun, the stake gun.
Yes. Ugh, very nice.
Very steampunky.
Yes. And then he is dead, and he has a vampire bite. That's suspicious. And then the real cops show up. As a lieutenant guy, right?
Gudget?
That's the other name.
Gotcha, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I was like, that's the other guy's name. I like that. I'm like, no, the real cops show up. Because they were doing it, but then somebody else had to show
Right.
up.
They were doing it a little bit kind
Not-
of outside of the book.
Doyle gets a telegram, and Bram is gone. Dun, dun, dun. So the team go down the street, and that Houdini's mom had seen him go down, and I like their little discussion of nobody knows what goes on behind closed doors. You don't even know it unless you live with them. Even if you live with them, you don't know.
And
the
that,
truth
yeah,
about people.
that line, yeah, really, it's not the doors that keep secrets from getting out. You know, like you could be as close to someone as you could possibly be and still have no idea.
Oh yeah, it's interesting. They all have their own secrets in our little
Right.
group. This is true. They find Bram. He's drinking some blood. Okay, so I like that his reasoning for drinking blood is I'm anemic. Drink cow's blood. I don't know. I would like to have a doctor person be like, can you just drink blood like that and be okay? Because I know people who are anemic. I've gone through phases of that, and you just take iron. You eat red meat, or you take. They might not have iron tablets, but you could just eat some red meat, which has a lot of iron.
Yeah.
I don't think just drinking blood.
But maybe that's an even more hyper concentrated version.
I'll have to ask, like, on Viking show, we have a guy who's a nurse practitioner, so I'll be like, by the way, I'll have to ask him that. Because I was like, I just kind of rolled my eyes at that a little bit. What do you guys think of that?
Well, why don't we all get some cow's blood? We'll all drink
We'll
it.
find out.
And see how we
Give
feel.
it a
We'll find
shot.
out.
Yeah.
Give
See
it a
how we
shot.
feel.
Test our iron levels.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
oh, hey, I feel good.
There you go.
And then Brahm's like, man, Doyle's like, man, your teeth look a little funky. So it's like the big bad wolf. Your teeth are so good.
Right. And it's something that he's never noticed because as we found out earlier, he hates public speaking, and it's because he tries so hard to keep his teeth guarded. Doesn't talk to anyone. He doesn't, come into contact with anyone.
Yep. And he's like, I've always had bad teeth, and they've just gotten worse. I can't talk worse.
You know.
Yeah, so he's sensitive to sunlight. And then he goes, all vampire traits are fiction.
Right.
I like his slightly angry moment.
Well, yeah. Who would know better than the author of Dracula?
Yes. And so we learn his blackmail and his condition is tertiary syphilis. Yay. Fun. So I know it's one of the yay.
And as I was reading about like the cause of death with Bram Stoker was either tertiary syphilis or overwork. Is what they couldn't quite nail it down. So it's like pretty far gap between.
Right, I was gonna say.
Your health deteriorate such that you could die from overwork because of your condition.
Yeah.
Perhaps a
You're just not
combination
in a
thereof.
healthy state.
One leads to the other, yeah. Yeah, very well so.
So then we're back at the police station, and Maring is like, he's questioning our team, and I like that Stratton still thinks Bram's a suspect, and Doyle's like, no, I know he's innocent. He's my friend, I know. And then we find out that Bram has broken out. Houdini, we're getting towards the end, but blaze through some of these. And I like that Houdini points out, he's like, I've broken out here before.
Right. Not going to tell you how, but I did it.
But I like that Doyle goes, okay, you don't have to tell me how you did it, but could he do it alone? He's like, nope.
No way. Absolutely not.
Which was a cute way to be like, okay, you don't have to tell me your secrets, but
Right.
Can you do it without help?
Throw me around here. Come on.
Yeah. And then the team goes to the cemetery and split up. Number one rule of a horror movie: do not split up.
That was
Number one.
It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah, that's like, I'll be right back. Another thing
You never say, I'll be right back.
No. And then just whistle, and he's like, I don't know how to whistle.
I thought that was
All
a great little
Americans.
moment.
It was so cool. Yeah, it was like, because I feel like so much of the show and so much of their interaction has been like, I can do all of these things that you can't.
Yes.
And so now something as simple as just whistling, and like, you can tell it kills Houdini to even say
He's like,
it.
I can't whistle, guys. Come back. And they're like, what? You can't whistle? I thought they teach all you Americans.
Right, it's the first thing they teach you, yeah.
No, can you guys whistle like
Not like
finger
that.
whistle?
Not like that, no.
Okay.
I can't. I always wanted to be able to.
Yeah,
anybody
right?
that can do that, I'm like, oh, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
They did it a weird way too, because I've seen the two, like you make the O, and then I've seen the two, but
Sure.
they did like a single.
Well, they
I
did.
thought-
They did
Oh,
the
they
two.
did that way.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Because I can whistle regular, but not using my hands.
Right. Yeah, me neither.
I can't even do that.
You can't whistle?
No,
Apparently, you're not American.
I'm not. I guess not. I was
Oh,
like,
comes full circle,
That's-
guys.
Oh wait, that was a weak whistle. I'm like, wait. Can you whistle?
Yeah. Well, okay. So when I whistle, because do you breathe out when you whistle?
Yes.
I breathe in. It's
ooh.
Okay. Sure.
right. Let's just see what else we can do.
I can't do it, guys.
I can do this though.
Oh wow, yeah, I have a coworker who did that all the time. All right, so guys, apparently, different level. Can you whistle? Leave that a comment. I'd be curious in that one.
There you go.
Yeah.
Send us videos.
Hi,
of
Kari,
you
I can
whistling.
whistle.
Or
I was
trying to
thinking,
whistle.
Video comment. Leave it. Can you whistle? Yeah, mine is like depends on, because I've done it where you joke with your friends and you're like,
Right. Right.
you know, and I can get it kind of loud, but definitely not in a crowd. I can't be the like, no.
Sure.
Anyway, so they split up, which proves to be a bad idea. Oh, I was gonna say we're getting some more whistle. Yeah, guys. Houdini finds the girl with her head cut off, which I was like, whoa, that was random and cool and creepy
Yeah.
and kind of beautiful. Like her face had that
It was.
porcelain,
Yeah. It was, yeah.
like the cinematography
very well.
and
Yeah.
how it's
Constructed
lit.
and well shot. Yeah.
And he gets hit in the head by a shovel. How convenient. Then Doyle finds Bram in the... Okay, I was totally blanking. What are those called?
That's what I was trying to think because I wrote mausoleum, but I don't know if that's right.
I'm gonna go with-
Crematorium?
No.
I'm going to go with mausoleum.
Right. Maybe
Because I
crypt?
wrote
Would
chamber. Crypt?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Sure. Because I was like, oh, there's a word, and I
Right.
know there's a word
I
for
did the
cemetery.
exact same thing.
I'm going to go... Yeah, mausoleum might be bigger, so I
That
might
might
go
be
with
bigger,
crypt.
yeah.
I think mausoleum maybe is more people.
Yeah.
There you go, guys. What do you...
Right.
But it had
Let's
that
know.
fire, that furnace
No,
inside
no, that's
there.
a different place.
Was it a
Yeah,
different?
that was different. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, they ran to that, which looked very comedic, by the way.
Yeah.
Did anybody else think that looked funny when their silhouettes ran over to the crematorium, like furnace area? I don't know. The
Like
way their
Benny Hill
silhouettes... Not quite, but it was just like very cartoonish.
Okay.
The way it was lit. I liked it, but it was comedic. All right. The vampires apparently have all left after they heard about McBride because they're like, whoa, this is... They're
People are gonna think it's me. Yeah.
And they're like, no, it's not us. And then you find out that it is the professor.
Professor Havensglen.
Yes.
Which would find out as
Yes.
an anagram for Van Helsing.
Which he, I was like, oh, that's kind of
dug
sad
that.
and cute.
I dug that.
Yeah. We learn that McBride did kill him and he messed in that. Professor wants to kill Bram because his book emboldened all the Strigoi. Strigoi. Yeah, there we go. Strigoi. And you're like, really? Really?
I feel like this is such like a small, niche subculture that's like, how big?
How many murders are
Right.
happening that you're preventing?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, I agree. Crazy. So Bram goes, I'm going to just take off because he's like, well, I won't tell you where Houdini is. So Bram's like, well, run! And Professor chases, and then it's like the comedic. I don't know, maybe it's how wide the shot was.
I was going to say, I didn't read comedy into any of these scenes.
Anyway, Houdini's in a coffin on the ground. He whistles, and then Stratton's like, whistle again, which I've had that before. You do hear something, and you're like, I need to hear it again.
Right,
Like, do it
exactly.
again. And then he takes his billfold clip, and I was wondering what he was going to do, and that was smart to start like breaking the coffin.
Yeah.
Impromptu coffin.
I was going to say, they were very shoddily constructed back then.
Yes. We'll continue with that one because then we jump back to the other people. Stratton starts digging him out, calls Doyle for help. They start digging him out, and then when he gets out, of course he has the one-liner. I gotta put this in my show.
Yeah.
Gotta put this in my act. And then right before that, though, we got Doyle, the professor, and they run the building, and then there's the furnace, they have the fight. And I like that he goes, Brom's dead.
That,
Do you see him go
The second you see an unidentified body burning in the furnace, you know it's the professor.
Of course.
1000%.
I don't understand like the reason to draw that out. I don't
Right.
like.
And it wasn't even like they drew it out that long
He
either.
should have been like, I don't know. I would have been happier with the I don't know line because he is so factual and like, I need facts, I need evidence, that to be like, he died. Did you see? You saw one set of hands.
Yeah, two people were fighting. You only see one person in the furnace.
Yes.
Like,
Your power of deduction has failed.
right, exactly.
It's like
Of all
Sherlock
people.
would be disappointed in you. It's like, no, you need evidence.
I was disappointed in the fight though. I thought I was
The
hoping
fight
Doyle.
was a little weak.
Yeah, because I was hoping Doyle's boxing
And he
stuff.
hits his head.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
would kind of come out for that moment,
Yeah.
but
It was
didn't really.
action though. I did like their editing was really good. Cutting between Stratton and Doyle though.
Yeah.
That was pretty exciting. But I agree, the fight was a little bit like, Doyle, I thought you were a little more athletic, but
Put your duke up, man.
Yeah.
he wasn't ready. And then we learned about Van Helsing, and then Doyle asks Bram to inscribe his copy of Dracula. I like that, inscribe.
The brand new paperback
Yes.
version, yeah.
Just the word inscribe. It's one of those like, it's like saying advertisement versus advertisement, how they say it. And
Yeah.
then your solicitor, which we don't use that the same way anymore. It means your lawyer.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean as
Oh, I
far
just like
as
how he's like,
inscribe?
inscribe. Like, he didn't say, can you sign this for me?
Right, but I think that's I think Americans would say that too. Like,
Would you?
to sign a
Would
book.
you say that? Would
Yeah.
you inscribe this for me?
To sign a book. I mean, it's old fashioned, but I don't think it's necessarily regional.
Okay, fine, it's old fashioned. No.
I don't
No.
know. I don't know, Ty.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, not so much.
But then the next scene, when you see Doyle selling that copy off at like another bookstore, making a lot of money off of that. Oh, just kidding.
I was like, wait a minute. Whoa.
he turned around, he flipped that book so fast.
Yes.
Got it.
And then he's like, you know my secret. And good point, though. He's like, I'm a doctor, so
Right.
I don't care. But then he's like, oh, how long? And then he's like, his comforting words are, well, your book will live on.
I was gonna say that doesn't seem like that comforting.
No, I know.
'Cause
That's what it's like.
That's like, oh, it's not looking good,
You're
man.
going to go insane.
Yeah.
Bummer. Enjoy it while it lasts. That's
Right.
pretty much what he's saying. Go have fun. You're going to die. And then Houdini is escorting Stratton home. She's like, you don't need to walk me all the way home. And then she admits she found the telegram that her man was getting firearms. And you're just like, what's going? The gate is ajar. That was a little kooky.
Yeah.
Like, the gate is ajar. Yeah. All right. And then he's like, the place has been ransacked. And she's like, I'm a police officer. I can go in my own home. He's like, well, you're the one who's been attacked.
Right,
so.
right.
And then she's taken all of Benjamin Thinks. I was waiting for Houdini to be like, not the book. Because remember, he put it in his pocket. He has the
interesting.
book. And they didn't do it. And so I was like, wait. Because they made
Well,
such a big deal.
that probably wouldn't
Maybe.
have been the right moment to be like, hey, I stole your man's book.
No, it would be like, it has all that'd be sweet. She's like, all of his things are gone. And be like, I still have this. And then she could be like,
I also think her focus might have been like not on the house sweep, but on like, you stole my husband's property.
no, he knows. She
knows?
Yeah, because he's like, I'll give it back.
Oh, right.
Remember?
Right.
And she makes such a big point saying that it was her husband's favorite book. So I have a feeling it could
was
have some
waiting-
stuff that would help
Yes.
them lead them on the trail.
So
Right.
maybe it will come back. Because I don't know, it was just such a big deal when he took it. So I was waiting in that moment
No,
to
I
be
think,
like,
yeah, you're right. I think it'll definitely
Yeah.
come back.
And so he points out to her they're going to go to Buffalo because he's going to take his mom anyway.
Right.
But Then Houdini goes up to his mom, and apparently, which I knew that too. I'm like, she's dead. Which I was like, darn. And the candle goes out. How symbolic.
Right.
And so we were looking up the actual death, and Frank found some info on that.
Yeah, she died in New York in 1913, and this series is supposed to take place in 1901. Houdini at the time, though, was he was in Czechoslovakia doing a show there when he got word about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were talking about that. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he wasn't there.
Right.
And so he had to hear about it by telegram, which was worse. So now we get to see Houdini spiral down because, okay, there we go. This will go into predictions. We'll go into predictions real quick.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, so this is going to be, I'm going to jump down this one real quick because I'm like, well, facts versus fiction. We know Houdini gets obsessed with the afterlife and all the talking to the dead after his mother dies. So I wonder how much the show is going to focus on that because that was such a big thing to him. He's like, I need to talk to my mom. Can anybody prove that they can do it? Because he wants to communicate with his mom.
Interesting, yeah.
So will the show go into that? Because that's like the other huge, like him doing magic, and that is like the two big things I would say he's really known for.
Well, at least from the trailer for next week, it seems like Thomas Edison's involved, and he has some kind of device that allows perhaps being able to talk to the other side. But it just feels, just from those clips that we see, it still seems like Houdini's like, jokey, shticky guy.
That's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought. Yeah.
He's not quite in
like
mourning.
not really. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But I think because I thought that exact same thing. But I think we'll get a scene where it's like he's very obviously putting on a facade. Like, nope, I'm fine. Let's get on with it.
Next shot.
Yeah. Also, can we talk a little bit about the inscription that we saw in that when Bram Stoker
Forever.
inscribed the book? Yeah, forever. I love that kind of tied into the whole fame and immortality kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like he'll live on through all this. Yeah.
They all did, which is kind of interesting watching it now. It's so meta. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like, well, actually, y'all did. We all are still talking about you today.
Just like Stratton, because
Yes.
Stratton went on to do so much.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know.
poor Stratton. So there we go. Speaking of Stratton, what do you think? What's the deal with her husband? Make a wild guess prediction. I know we don't really know anything about him yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
Enough?
I feel like on the surface it's got to be what they're talking about, the fact that he was trying to put an end to this
Okay.
anarchist. But maybe, I don't know, maybe the twist is that he was the one doing he was the assassin.
Okay.
I'll go wild and say the husband's still alive.
Interesting.
Yeah, you're going to find out at the end he's going to come back.
Okay.
They think that they solved everything. I feel like it could be open then all of a sudden for Houdini. It's like, all right, we've put this aside. Maybe I could get together, and the husband pops up.
But she found his body.
Could be
Did
fake.
she?
Yeah, she said she found him. He was hanging
Oh,
from the
that's
ceiling,
right. That's
remember?
right. That's right.
Could be staged. Could be.
never
Who
know.
knows? Could be staged.
Sure.
We talked about poison that makes
Yeah.
you look like you're near death.
Yeah. I'm gonna go counter to your argument, and I'm gonna say that he is a bad guy because they had the you don't really know anybody about anything kind of moment,
Right.
and she had a thing where she's like, good point. So she had a moment. So I'm gonna go. Her husband is the assassin.
Is the assassin? Yeah.
Maybe isn't pure evil, but is a murder. Like maybe he was
Interesting.
doing it for a cause, kind of a thing, not just like he's not a serial killer, but he probably was. He believed in his cause, whatever that was.
In the anarchist philosophy. Yeah.
Sure.
And real quick, if you think like Houdini does have a moment where he kind of breaks down, who do you think he'd break down to? Doyle or Stratton?
I don't know. I feel
I
like
want my bromance. We'll go with Doyle.
I feel like he wouldn't do it to either.
You don't think so?
No, I feel like he has to keep his guard up between both of them, both out of a sense of competition with Doyle and
Yeah.
out of a sense of trying to impress
Manly.
Stratton. Yeah. This sort of machismo kind of.
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, not that he's like wept openly in front of Doyle, but he's been a little
They've been opening
vulnerable
up.
about his
Yeah.
wife and stuff being in a coma.
It might take some pulling. I think it might take Doyle asking like a bunch for him to finally come out with something.
Yeah. Or he'll catch him, and then he'll be like, all right,
Right.
I gotta admit,
Right. Sure.
this is really hard on me. Blah, blah. We'll see.
Ooh.
All right. Oh my gosh, that covers up this exciting episode and wraps up. I was like, kind of, yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Please comment down below. We love reading your comments. 5 stars on iTunes. And then, gentlemen, why don't you tell our awesome audience where they can find your awesome selves?
I am at Ty Matthews PMA on pretty much every form of social media. All your Facebooks and your Twitters and your Instagrams and Snapchats, all that good stuff. Same thing all across the board because I value consistency. I'm on various other after shows, including Monday Night Raw, American Ninja Warrior, and Lucha Underground. So check that out.
You can check out my wide array of whistling videos. You can't because I had
Frank Moran whistles.
Yeah, that's right. Don't take that domain name, guys. I'm locking that one down. Don't do it. Don't you dare do it. You can follow me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie, and you can check me out with Box Office Breakdown with Kari on Monday nights at 10 o'clock.
Yes, and again, my name's Kari Lane. You can find me online at Kari D Lane. That's KARIDLANE, and I'm in Box Office Breakdown with Frank on Monday nights at 10. And then Tuesdays, Hunters, and also tomorrow we're starting Dead of Summer. I was like, what's the name of that one? So another kind of horror one, which will be fun and exciting. And Wednesday is Vikings. Again, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe to AfterBuzz on all the social media platforms because we cover a lot of crazy, awesome shows, and you don't want to miss out. So again, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week. I know. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.